Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. In this week's guitar lesson, we're back in my wheelhouse and probably what I'm best known for, and that's creating these solo blues compositions. Now these are popular for a lot of reasons. I think the biggest reason is that you have a way to showcase your skills. So as you're learning how to play the guitar, you've also got a composition, a goal to work towards, and a composition that you can play for yourself or other people. And that gives you a sense of accomplishment, and it also gives you a way to kind of show where you're at on the guitar. So I've done hundreds of these through the years. If you want to check them all out, they're on the Active Melody Lessons page. There's a category called No Accompaniment, and that's where I put them all. So I've split this lesson into two parts, and this video will take a look at the first half. If you'd like to learn this in its entirety, as well as download the tablature for this, just go to ActiveMelody.com, go to the Lessons page, and do a search for EP238. Alright, so this is a blues in the key of E, and it starts on the 5 chord. So we're going to start with a B7, and then we're going to go to the 4 chord, which is an A, and then the 1 chord. That's a classic way to start a blues song. I know some of you have asked through emails how to start and end songs. You're in a jam and you're not sure how to get it going. Start on the 5 chord, then go to the 4 chord, and then the 1. It's a classic blues intro. So here's how we're going to do this. That's the first thing we're going to learn. It's a walk up, so it starts with the open 5th string, which is an A, and then we're going to go up to the 1st fret on the 5th string, and then the 2nd fret. Now play that 2nd fret with your middle finger, because you're going to go right into that B7 chord. So once you have that, put your other fingers down, index finger on the 1st fret, 4th string, ring finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and that's the B7 chord. So we have the little walk up. I take my pinky now and put it down on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and go like this. Now, if you'll notice with the right hand, I'm using hybrid picking for that. So I'm picking the little walk up part. Then I'm using my middle finger on the 3rd string there, and then my ring finger on the 2nd string to play. So we have, and then take your pinky off the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and play the open 2nd string, the open B note. Middle finger goes back down and hits the 3rd string. So all together, that little intro sounds like that. It's a great little exercise in hybrid picking as well. Now after that, I go to the 4 chord, but since there is no accompanying instrument, all I played of the 4 chord was just the 3rd fret, 1st string, which would be the 7th, an A7. So I'm just playing, and I hit it a few times. I was using my ring finger for that. Some of you may want to use your pick, but I'm just bending it slightly as I hit it. Then take my finger off and play the open 1 string. And then I did this little hammer-on pull-off thing here, go like that, which is it's happening on the 3rd string, 1st fret. So you play the open 3rd string and do a hammer-on and a pull-off, and then you do another hammer-on with your middle finger onto the 2nd fret, 4th string. It's actually easier to do than I'm making it sound. You can start that slowly until you can get that timing down. So from the beginning we have, after that I come down and establish, that's where we start on the 1 chord, and now we're going to do the little turnaround. So that's the low E string, or the 6th string. And then I did this little walk down, turnaround, which I've used in other lessons. I love this one, but I changed the timing of it a little bit. So here's what we're going to learn here. So this is actually very easy to play when you hybrid pick this, because it's just the same shape. You just walk it down each time. So we're going to start here with middle finger on the 5th fret, 5th string, index fingers on the 4th fret, 3rd string, and we're going to pick the 5th string and pluck the 3rd string with our ring finger like this. And so we're just going to walk it down like this. Now to add a little bit to that, we're going to come up and hit the open 1 string. You might as well, it's an E note, right? I'm using my ring finger for that. And then I do a little hammer on that time with my index finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. accenting that E note again, that open 1 string. So all together from the start of that we have. And then we come all the way down to the E chord, which if you think of the E chord just minus your ring finger, that's really what you're making there. Another hammer on. And then the classic little walk up there. Back. This is actually the same way that we started it. It's that open 5th, 1st, and then 2nd fret on the 5th string. And then right into the B7 chord. And that's the intro part. Let me back up and play through that one more time slowly, and then we'll move on to the rest of it. So here we go. And this is how you count it in. It actually comes in on the and of 4. So you count it like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Very smooth, right? You can use that in lots of things, so that's a great takeaway. All right, so now we're going into the 1 chord. And all I'm really playing is an E7 chord, but I'm just kind of building that chord. So I start with the open, so actually I start with my left hand making the E chord, and I'm going to play the open 6th string, and then I'm going to do a hammer on the 3rd string. So again, that E chord shape, you're just going to lift your index finger off and hammer it on like that. And then hit the open 1 string. Now I'm using my ring finger for that. I'm using hybrid picking throughout this whole thing. So if you're not a hybrid picker, you could just pick that. But get into hybrid picking. It makes playing so much easier. And then pinky goes down on the 3rd fret 2nd string. That's what gives it that bluesy 7th sound. That's what makes it sound, really you're creating the E7 chord when you do that. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to go to the 4 chord. So actually, let me play this. If I was just playing the rhythm would sound like this. We're going to go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord and back to the 1 chord. A lot of blues do this. So it sounds like this. There's your 1 chord. There's your 4 chord. And back to the 1 chord. That's what we're simulating here. So we're on the 1, and then real quickly I go into the 4 with that little walk down. So in my mind I went ahead and switched to the 4 chord, so I switched to an A, and I did a walk down from here, and that's if I was playing an A bar chord. It's just strings 2 and 3 out of that. But I'm using my middle finger and ring finger. I think it's easier to use those fingers because of where we're going to go. So middle finger goes down on the 5th fret 2nd string, ring finger goes down on the 6th fret 3rd string, and I'm using these 2 fingers, middle finger and ring finger, and this is how I walked it down. It's just a straight walk down. You're going 1 fret each time. So I'm going to do pluck, pluck, slide, and then we go down to the A chord, and I'm just barring the first 4 strings there on the 2nd fret for that. So backing up from the A, we have. Now once I'm down here, I put my pinky up on the 5th fret 1st string to play that higher note in the A chord. You hear that in a lot of old, like Robert Johnson blues. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just going up to that 5th fret 1st string, and then I come down, keeping the bar there, but I come down to the 3rd fret 1st string to create the 7th chord. So you have your A major and your A7, A dominant 7. All right, so from the E chord, from the 1 chord. Now one thing to pay attention to is the rhythm there. Listen. So you can see I'm hitting the bass string, hitting the top string, and then strumming the chord. So you're doing that combination over and over again. So it creates a little bit of a back and forth. So if you need a little more clarity on that, it's all in the tablature. And then I go to the E. So let's learn that. Now to keep the rhythm interesting, instead of just playing, the old shuffle, I went into a thing where it sounded a little more jazzy. So I'm starting with the low 6th string, the low E string rather, and then I make this D chord shape. So that's playing an E chord, but I'm playing it up here. So if you think of taking your D chord and you slide it up 2 frets, that's another way to make an E chord. So I start there, then I slide everything down 1 fret, and then back up. Very easy to do. And then I'm going to bar the first 3 strings on the 2nd fret. So we have, and then down to the E chord. And I just did a little hammer on with my index finger. And then to conclude that I went, so my pinky played I played the open 2nd string, did a hammer on with my pinky to the 2nd fret 2nd string, and then I did an upstroke on the open 1 string. So we have, alright, that's a lot of information. Let's back all the way up from the beginning and play up to that point. I'll play through it slowly. So here we go. Now just pay attention to the hybrid picking. You could make things a lot easier to hybrid pick them. So then we go to the 4 chord, which is an A. And the way that I played that, I actually didn't really play an A chord at all. I hit the A, the 5th string, which is an A note, but then I went right into a lead part. And it's just sort of dancing around where that A part would be. Now what I'm playing is really a combination of E minor pentatonic mixed with some notes from the E major pentatonic. So let me show you how to play it first, and then we'll discuss it a little more. But okay, so after we hit the open 5th string, then I came with my ring finger to the 3rd fret 1st string. So I played that note, played the open 1 string, middle finger goes down on the 2nd fret 2nd string. So if you think of, in terms of the pentatonics, you have your minor pentatonic for E, and then you have that note, which is in the major pentatonic. So that's where we're kind of mixing the two. And we're going to repeat that lick. That's a great lick that's repeatable. You can play this in any key. And by the way, it doesn't matter what the chord is. So even if the chord is as long as you're playing in the key of E, you can use this lick. It's a repeatable one. All right, so I played through that twice. And then I played the open 1 string, and I used my ring finger on the 3rd fret 1st string, slid up to the 5th fret 1st string, and slid up to the 7th fret 1st string. So after I picked right there, those 2 notes were created by sliding. Alright, so from the A. Now once I'm up here, I'm just going to keep the same timing going. So let's learn that. It's just a little walk down here from the 7th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret. That's all on the 1st string. This is all just blues stuff that you can use in the key of E, by the way. So if you want to take away, you want to start using this stuff when you improvise, just look at this lick. It works great over the E, and it doesn't matter that we're playing over the A chord because we're playing in the key of the song. All right, so you walk it down, 6, 5, and then we come down to the 8th fret 2nd string, 5th fret 2nd string, 6th fret 3rd string. So we have, now from here I'm going to play the 7th fret 2nd string, 6th fret 2nd string, 5th fret 2nd string. So then we're going to come down with the index finger to the 3rd fret 2nd string, open 2nd string, 2nd fret 3rd string. So let's back up. We have, and then a hammer on. That's on the, and that's establishing, you can hear by your ear. Oh, okay, that's the E chord. We're back to the 1 chord. So that's open 3rd string with a hammer onto the 1st fret, playing the 1st string open, and then the low sixth string, just to establish that E chord. All right, a lot of information. Let's back up one more time and let me play through that A part. I'll play through it slowly. All right, now the next lick that I played went. Great takeaway lick. This is another one. If you learn nothing else in this, use this lick, especially when you're playing an E, because you're taking advantage of that open one string, the E string. And all I'm doing is playing. So it's just a slide up to the 4th fret on the 3rd string with your pick, and then we go down to the 3rd, down to the 2nd, and then the open with a hammer on to the 1st. Now the only thing in addition to that is you're using your ring finger to play that open one string. So you have, and I use that all the time when I'm improvising an E. It's so easy to do. It's just very easy to grab and you don't even have to think about it. Then I go down to the low 6th string, the low E string, high E string, the 1 string, and then I play that same little thing like we did the first time, where you use your pinky to do a hammer on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. All right, so we have and then I just did a 6th string and a strum. Now here's where the song is going to deviate from your typical 12-bar blues. I go into an F sharp major. Now typically, if you're thinking of the chord structure, actually last week I covered this. Your 1 chord is a major, your 2 chord is always a minor, right? Well, in this case it's not. In this case you're actually playing a major 2nd. And that's something you hear a lot in blues, especially like ragtime stuff, where you play the 1 chord. It's in country too, quite a bit in country. But you play the 1 chord and then you play the major 2nd. It's easy to do because all you have to do is whatever your chord is, you can do this in any key. If you're doing it in G, you just go up 2 frets and that would be your major 2nd. So in our case, we're playing an E, you go up 2 frets and you have your major 2nd chord, which is the F sharp major. All right, so now that we understand that, the way that I played it was the 6th string. Actually, here's how I'm fretting it. I'm barring the 2nd fret, and I've got my middle finger down on the 3rd fret, 3rd string. My ring finger is down on the 4th fret, 5th string. So it's actually a F sharp major 7. So you play the 6th string, and then I use my middle finger to play the 3rd string. And see the little hammer on I'm doing with my middle finger there? Now notice what's happening there. I'm doing the exact same thing. You know, when we establish the E chord stuff, it's the same thing. We're just establishing a different chord. So hopefully a light bulb goes off for some of you, and you think, oh, okay, so I could do that in A. And you hear that in blues-based, roots-based music all the time, where you're kind of building a chord. So after that, I come up and hit the 1 string, and then my pinky goes down on the 5th fret, 2nd string, just to make that 7th chord. That's the same thing we did for the E. Okay, so there's that, and then I went. Now that's exactly the same way we did the intro, so I'm not going to walk that down. It's the same little walk up, pinky on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then play those 2 notes. And then I played the same little hammer-on, pull-off, hammer-on thing, whatever you call that. Just like in the intro, that's the open 3rd string, 1st fret, open, hammer on with your middle finger to the 2nd fret, 4th string. And then I hit the low E string, or that low 6th string. And then it did the same walk down, just like we did in the intro. Same one, where we're playing picking on string 5, plucking on string 3. And then the turnaround. A little walk up to the B7 chord. And then we're going to go into part 2. Now part 2 gets into some jazzier chords and a whole other kind of feel, but keeping the same vibe, I guess. All right, let me back up and play through that one more time so you have one final reference, and then I'll see you in part 2. So here we go.